Welcome, everyone. I'm Dale Coulis, and you're tuning into the Wednesday edition of the Berkshire Hathaway podcast. And today we have on realty expert Adam Helgeson, and he'll be talking with us today right after this.
What would tomorrow look like if you sold your house today? Maybe you'd move to a new city or a new country. Maybe you'd pick up birding or birdies. You could get into wine, not that into wine, or skiing, warmer skiing. Or maybe you'd spend more time doing nothing at all. When you're ready for whatever comes next, we'll be ready to help you get there. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. What would tomorrow
Welcome
look
back.
like?
We are here today with realty expert Adam Helgeson. Happy Wednesday to you.
Hey, how you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Middle of the week, it's been I guess I'm still getting used to the 4-week rotation now that we got Caitlin in the mix here with you guys. So
Yeah.
I think last week I was thinking, I'm like, I think Adam's in this week. I'm like, oh wait, no, it's Ben last week. So
Yeah.
how was it for you getting used to the new 4-week rotation?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Got to come up with some new material. So it gives us a little time to, figure some things out. So yeah, it's not bad at all.
Absolutely. Now, I understand today we got a bunch of real estate lingo terms that people may need to know when just for buying and selling.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of terminology out there that most homeowners or, first-time buyers or anyone that might not know or know the difference between them. For example, when you're searching for houses, you might see something that says active contingent, like active under contract, or contingent inspection. Those all mean different things. So active contingent, it kind of means the house is active, allowed to view, but it is contingent. They do have an accepted offer contingent on a house sale.
Could all depend on other factors, not yet
Yes.
final, more or less.
Yep. Now, active under contract means they have accepted an offer that's not contingent on, something else, but the seller wants to keep it active for backup offers.
Okay.
Now, if you see active contingent inspection, right, they have an accepted offer, but they're waiting for the home inspection to be completed to make sure that the deal is going to keep moving forward. So, those are some prime examples.
Could be just waiting to get the all clear from the inspection there, and then they'll be good to go.
Yep. So then it'll move from active contingent to pending. Once it's pending, that means all contingencies have been met, and it's just pending closing. There may still be an appraisal or something out there, but that means pretty much all the initial contingencies have been met.
Okay.
So, another couple terms you may hear is addendum and amendment.
I think I'm familiar with a couple of these kind of before, similar principles in the real estate world.
Yep. So an addendum adds to a contract. So if you need to, add in personal property, you will do an addendum adding to the contract. Now, if you need to change something in the initial contract, then you'd use an amendment because you're amending something in the contract.
Kind of similar. No, I guess I don't know. Completely different things, but everyone's probably heard of, amending the Constitution, obviously, being the go-to analogy there.
Yep. So you're changing something in that. Yeah. So, yep. Another one is amateurization. You will see this at closing. They give you a big document that shows all your payments. So if you were only to make the minimum payments over the 30-year term, I mean, it's kind of freaky looking. It scares the hell out of most people. But the amortization schedule of your payments and shows when you'll have it paid off, and you can see what your, house cost will be, or what your balance will be throughout the 30 years.
Kind of goes over all the fine little numbers.
Yep. A lot of people know what the appraisal is, right? That's the bank schedules the appraisal. Agents or clients have no choice on who they get. It's kind of a bank's way to cover their ass to make sure they're not lending you too much money, right? The appraiser's going to go out. They're going to look at condition. They're going to measure the size of the house. They're going to look at comparable sales, comps, which we'll talk about in a minute, and make sure that you're not overpaying for the house, because the bank can only give you, as much as the appraised value. Okay.
Makes sense.
Do you know what appreciation is?
No, that's a new one.
All right. So appreciation is the value of growth of your house, right? It appreciates in value. Some depreciate. So it all depends upon, you have to buy right and then take care of the house to make sure you have appreciation and value. A lot of people think, well, if I just buy a house and live in it for 5 years, it'll be worth more when I'm done. Well, not if you don't upkeep it, right? So
Yeah, do the good old TLC to it there and make sure all the regular maintenance is done.
Yep, exactly. Another term you'll hear is clear title. So once you close on your house, you will get a title insurance policy. Sometimes you will have an actual abstract, which is really cool. The abstract is a list or history of everyone that's owned the property since beginning. So I've been reading some of them in like 1863, no person of color shall ever own this property. I mean, just crazy crap in there.
Oh, wow.
right?
Just like completely of the time of
Yes.
just terms and phrasing.
Yeah,
Holy.
and you can see the ownership, like, oh, and 1902 they bought this land for $5, or whatever. So it's really cool. But here in the Grand Forks area, after the '97 flood, a lot of them got ruined in the flood.
A lot of lost records.
Yep, a lot of lost records. So now they do a title insurance policy, and part of the closing and using the title company is they make sure there's a clear title. So it's free of all liens and encumbrances and that type of stuff, which are words you probably have no clue, which I'm gonna,
Oh, I'm here to learn today.
Yeah,
I got my learning hat on. So
Yeah.
I'm no, this is actually I was gonna say I'm gonna be ready for an exam after this.
There you go. The closing is just that. It's the final review of all the documents, signing, reviewing everything. And once you sign those closing documents is when you get your keys. Closing costs. All right. There's costs in buying or selling. On the selling side, the closing costs are, like the realtor's commissions. You do have like the settlement fee and stuff like that is split 50-50. So that's you don't have as much. The majority of your closing costs on the seller side is the real estate commissions. On the buyer side, you have all your deed prep, you have your mortgage docs, you have your mortgage fees, which is like your origination fee, and that's flexible. That's origination fee is.
I was just going to ask, origination fee.
That's what the origination fee is what the lender charges to do all the paperwork.
Okay.
And that is negotiable. People don't realize shopping for mortgages and lenders is just like shopping for a car. I had a client the other day. They said their origination fee was 1.68% of the purchase price, and they quoted them an interest rate of 7.75. I'm like, holy crap. So I called a local lender that I know, and they like, no, we'll give them a 1% origination fee, and with their credit score, they can get a 6.1 something. So, I mean, that saved them 0.7% of the purchase price, which is what, $700 per 100,000, right? Which doesn't seem like a much, but when you're buying a $300,000 house,
Every little bit helps.
yeah, that's $2,100 right there. And then you figure almost 1.25% off the interest rate, or not quite. It'd be, 1.25% off the interest rate is going to be huge over that. So yes, shop around.
Do you find that a lot of people are surprised just how much they can save just by asking a simple question? I'm like, oh wow, this was negotiable.
Yep, exactly. So then when you hear the words commission, that's how agents get paid, of course. All that's negotiable too when buying or selling. Just keep in mind the agent's commission on let's say you want me to sell your house, my commission, I pay for all the photography myself. So I have a professional photographer do everything, usually drone footage if needed. We do 3D walkthroughs, all the marketing I pay for, everything comes out of my pocket, right? Plus the broker takes some, and then it's the commissions are split 50-50 between the selling agent and buying agent. You're right. So those get whittled down quite a bit. Plus I have a transaction coordinator that I pay to help make sure all my deals go smooth. She handles all the paperwork. I remember there was one, I closed a house in Twin Valley. It was a small little place. I got my commission check. I made $167, and I paid my real estate coordinator $150. So
It was almost broke even almost there.
I got $17 more than she did.
Wow.
Right? So, I mean, you don't always make a killing. It's more about helping the clients.
Just kind of going above and beyond, just for all the great realty experts over there, at Berkshire Hathaway, to make sure you help out the clients. I think that's awesome.
Yep. So we were talking about comps and comparable sales, right? What that is when I go to price a house, I want to search for comparable sales in the area. And I hear it all the time from homeowners like, wow, my neighbor's house 2 doors down sold for this. Okay, well, that's a 2-story with a full basement and a 3-car garage. You have a split level with a 2-car garage, right? Those are 2 totally separate houses. You want to look at age of the house. You want to look at style of the house. Ranch houses may sell more than 2 stories, right? Split levels may not sell as good. You know what I mean? So you have to look at similar houses in the similar demographic, right? Even in Grand Forks, there's a difference between, over by campus, South Grand Forks, and Riverside, right? You could have the same house in those three locations, and they're going to be priced totally different.
All depending on a whole bunch of various factors.
Yep. So that's when we talk about comps and comparable sales, we have to look specifically usually within the last 6 months. We can go to a year. But even now, if you look in the last year with the market, in March, it was, batshit crazy with people paying over, and now it's slowed down with interest rates high. So even if you use a comp from March, right, you have to deduct, use our expertise to deduct, okay, based on market trends now, we have to deduct a little bit from the sales price to make sure it fits the local market now.
And when people are kind of going through those X's and O's with you got all the proper resources to make sure it's all done, just totally like, oh, hey, we got all, like you said, all your expertise, all the proper software and everything, get the numbers crunched accurately.
Yep, exactly. Now, easements, encroachments, and encumbrances. A lot of people have no clue what those are. So an easement, let's say you buy a property and you're along the main road and there's another property behind you, right, that has no road access. They have to have an easement. They have to have accessibility to their property. So there could be an easement on your property giving them use of your property to get to theirs.
I was gonna say, I'm actually familiar with someone that has property where they through backyard access, like in order to get, they have to have shared backyard to get to one backyard to the other, because of the way the property's laid out.
Yeah, so that'd be an easement. 2, the city has them. So like if you're going to build a fence, you need to check with the city to make sure there's no easements for water lines and the sewage and that type of stuff. Now you can go against the city and build your fence over the easement, right? So you have a nice full backyard. But then if they ever need access to that easement area, right, they
have right of passage into it, more or less.
Yeah, you may have to take your fence down to give them right of passage at your cost. Okay. An encroachment is when someone else's property violates you. So like there's a dispute. One of my friends at the lake, their friend they lived on Maple Lake and they had a steep part of the hill, or their friend put up a big water slide and it was like 3 feet over the property line. Right. So that'd be an encroachment. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's a definite encroachment. I think we've all probably heard stories over the years of various homeowners like, oh, this tree's their branch is gradually a little leaning over, and this and that. But that's like a major encroachment, like you listed right there.
Yeah, exactly. And then an encumbrance is something against the property. So let's say you hired a guy to come remodel your house, and then he didn't pay him. That contractor can put a lien against your property for that debt, right? That would be an encumbrance. Any claim against your property that restricts you from selling it. And that's where it's nice to have the title company do that so you can have a clear title. So when you're buying a place, an example is I had a client who was buying a manufactured home, right? The guy who lived there bought the chunk of land cash, purchased the manufactured home, had it moved in, built this big garage, whatever. It was nice. Come to find out, when he came to sell, he never did a title search or whatever on the land he bought. He just paid cash for it, whatever, it was his. Well, here the previous owner had liens against that property. So now it's this guy's fault because the previous owner moved. So now the current seller had to pay off the previous owner's liens to be able to sell that property and move on with his life.
And liens are like previous debts that they're responsible for, or something
previous
about
debts that they never paid, that, you know what I mean? The debtor put a claim against their property, right? Mm-hmm. So you always want to make sure you get that clear title and you have, clear ownership of that land before you sign.
I was gonna say, that would be a huge eye opener. Oh man.
Yep. Another one is escrow. A lot of people don't realize what escrow is, and I'll end on this one. I have a lot more, but
Could do another part 2 here down the line.
we could do a part 2. But escrow, a lot of people don't realize is it's money when you put in your house payment, right? You have money set aside for your homeowner's insurance and your county taxes. So a lot of people get flustered because they look online and do a mortgage calculator where it's just your principal and interest, right? Your mortgage payment plus the interest on that loan. And they don't keep in mind escrow, which is, you know what I mean? The bank is going to cover their ass and make sure that they collect your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance premium, right? Our money. So they know the house is insured and it's not going to get taken by the county, right? So that's what they call escrow. A lot of people think, oh, that's like a little savings account for me. If I need to do something, I can pull money out of escrow. No, that is the bank's money. They have an ability to fluctuate a little bit high, a little bit low of what they need to. Usually it's a little on the high side because your property taxes very rarely go down. They usually go up. So they want to make sure that there's enough money in there that they can cover your property taxes when they're due February 15th and your homeowner's insurance when that statement is due. But they're only legally allowed to cover so much percentage over. So let's say your property taxes do go down. So like for me, I finally filed my veteran credit, right, which dropped my property taxes, which dropped my escrow. Now I have an overage in my escrow, so the bank's cutting me a check. So for that extra that's in there.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, that's not a bad deal there.
To adjust, they want, you know what I mean? They don't want to make sure they're taking too much. So your payment can fluctuate, your mortgage payment. It's not based on principal and interest because that's going to stay the same. It's based on your escrow payments, which is your county taxes and your homeowner's insurance. So if you throw in an outdoor pool and now there's more liability, your homeowner's insurance is going to go up, which is going to make your escrow go up, which is going to make your house payment go up. Does that make sense?
Yep. It kind of just, they all go up accordingly together.
Yep. Exactly. So we will do a part 2 on Friday, I think. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I think this is a great episode for everyone to bookmark because save for future reference because, a lot of these terms were I either heard rarely or just not much before altogether. But I do know before we wrap up, there's a couple of Halloween events upcoming with the Berkshire Hathaway you kind of wanted to make sure to give everyone a reminder on.
Yeah, exactly. All of our clients, we buy pumpkins every year. So if you're one of our past clients, I've called a lot of them and let them know, but come by, let the front desk girl Megan know, hey, you're a past client, you want to grab a pumpkin, bring your kids, grab a couple pictures, whatever. There's pumpkins out front. I want to say there's probably like 20 left. Also, we're doing a big trunk or treat event on Halloween Day from like 2 to 5:30. Bring your kids out. We have different vendors that are going to be there. We're all going to be there hanging out, giving out some candy. So
is that the Berkshire Hathaway offices then?
That's right out front, Berkshire Hathaway, right off 32nd Avenue. You can't miss it.
All right. Well, before we wrap up today, Adam, what's the best way for everyone to reach out and contact you?
Well, if you have questions, anything we covered, or want me to talk to me about buying or selling a house, my cell number is 701-317-1750. You can check out my website, homesbyhelgeson.com, or call any of us real estate experts at Berkshire Hathaway at 746-0303.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Adam. And that is a wrap to your Wednesday edition of the Berkshire Hathaway podcast. Many thanks to Adam Helgeson for joining us today. Many thanks to producer Paul, and we will be back with the next Berkshire Hathaway podcast Friday morning at 10. Until then, have a wonderful day and goodbye for now.